As the second part of data modeling discussion, Chapter 3 presents some important extensions to the ER diagram, which was discussed in Chapter 2, that are useful in capturing some additional business meanings. In particular, we describe two types of extensions to the ER diagram. First, the enhanced ER diagram or EER model, which includes constructs for supertype and subtype relationships. Second, the inclusion of new notations for business rules that allows the designer to capture a broader range of constraints on the data model than were previously available. In addition, we will discuss entity clustering and package the data models, which are popular data modeling practices in today's environment. So in many real-world situations, you will find supertype-subtype relationships very useful. When we talk about customers, employees, and products, there are usually many different types of customers, employees, and products that can be categorized into different subtypes. For example, there are the subcategories of business customers and individual customers, or internal customers and external customers. For students, there are subcategories of graduate students and undergraduate students. For employees, there are subcategories of salaried employees, hourly employees, and contractors. However, one thing you will need to keep in mind is that you don't want to categorize them too finely in the data model. So to subtype or not to subtype, this is a question that every data modeler needs to answer. And the answer to this question can only come when you understand the business rules and the processes thoroughly. A subtype is only necessary when it has unique attributes or relationships that do not apply to other instances. For example, for hourly employees, the hourly rate attribute does not apply to employees who are salaried, right? And therefore, hourly employee should be treated as a subtype of the supertype employee. Accurately documenting supertypes and subtypes has important implications to how the ER diagram will be converted into tables, which will be discussed in the next module. One good exercise for this module is to consider the examples that you have encountered recently in your work, school, or home experience that could be modeled with supertype-subtype hierarchies. See if you can diagram these rules using the notations provided in this chapter. Chapter 3 also introduces a number of notations for representing business rules. You will probably find out that these notations may not be sufficient to represent all the business rules in a business situation. And that's correct. However, not all business rules are represented using these few notations. Some important business rules are represented in the relationships, attributes, and cardinalities, which we discussed last week. For example, the fact that a student can register for one or more courses or no course at all is not only a cardinality property, but also an important business rule. In the lecture for this chapter, we are going to discuss additional business rules such as upper and lower limits. Please remember, when you can't find a notation to represent a business rule, you can always state the rule in the narrative format. Another key concept discussed in this module is packaged data model, which is widely used today. A packaged data model is most useful when one can easily customize it to the specific business. As long as the packaged data model is for the type of business or functional area, then it can be generally customized. The amount of customization depends upon the types of specialized business rules in place for the organization. The packaged data model contains a fully populated description of the data model and the structured data modeling tool that permits customization of the data model. The data modeling tool often includes the ability to produce SQL commands for database definition in a variety of database management systems so that the database implementation stage is somewhat automated. Starting a data modeling project with a packaged data model is quite different from starting a data modeling project with a clean slate, and in most cases is more efficient. A packaged data model provides the metadata of a standardized, industry-vetted data model, usually built with a structured data modeling tool. The project would begin by identifying the parts of the packaged data model that apply to your specific project's data modeling situation, rather than beginning to draw model elements from scratch. And data in the packaged data model would be mapped to data in the current organization's database, with the intent of developing migration plans for converting organizational data. You must understand that a data modeling project using a packaged data model would require at least the same amount of effort as a project that's not using a packaged data model. And in some cases, it may require even more efforts. The primary reason is that when a data modeling project uses a generic packaged data model, the data modeler must customize the packaged data model to meet local organizational needs and constraints. So a successful data modeler using a packaged data model needs advanced skills and knowledge about the organization's business rules, complex data modeling formalisms, and the structured data modeling tool used to specify the packaged data model to meet the needs of the organization. So this chapter provides multiple examples of the data models often seen in the packaged data model. After studying this chapter, you should accomplish the following learning objectives. You should be able to draw the ER diagram to represent various supertype, subtype situations in businesses, and you should be able to perform entity clustering to simplify complicated ER diagrams. And this skill is especially useful in today's environment where the databases can be very complex. And you also should be able to represent complex business rules in enhanced ER diagram and understand the reasons for using packaged data modeling and the process of data modeling using packaged data model for your project. The assignments that I have assigned to you should be very helpful for reviewing the most important topics covered in this module. Please complete the assignments and submit them on time, and I'll go over the common mistakes found in your assignments with you after grading them.